last member to ask questions, the gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Keith Ellison.
Mr. Director, thanks for being here today. In the past several weeks, I've been at a lot of events for members of the Muslim and Arab community, and there have been several of them where I've seen people from the FBI who were there, who spoke, who interacted with community. I thought that was a good thing. I want to commend you and encourage you to continue to do that. Could you talk about other things that the FBI is doing right now to try to build better relationships within those communities at this time?
Well, as you pointed out, we have substantial outreach in every one of our 56 field offices. Special agents in charge since September 11 have been directed to attend mosques, attend dinners, attend congregations of Muslim Americans, Arab Americans, Sikh Americans, in order to share basically what we do and our concern not only about the contributions of that community to protect the United States against another attack, but addressing hate crimes, which also are a substantial concern in the wake of September 11th. And we take any allegation of a hate crime against a Muslim as extremely serious and undercutting the democracy in which we live. I meet periodically with the national leaders of the Muslim communities. We have an established mechanism whereby when we do make an arrest, and it does happen to be Muslims, that we have a dialogue immediately so that there is an understanding of what supports that arrest, and allowing the leaders of the Muslim community to explain to the flock what we're doing. Part of our outreach is also through citizen academies, in which we will have Muslim leaders participate in citizens academies, which are several continuous weeks of I would say training by the FBI as to what we do and how we do it, the constraints under which we do it. And I will say almost to a one, the persons who go through the citizens academies come out with a much better understanding about what we do, how we do it, and our concerns about the civil rights of all populations in the United States. Those are just a few of the areas in which we operate. I will tell you that the participation in the Muslim community in terms of trying to prevent another terrorist attack from September 11th has been terrific. And
do you agree then that the American Muslim community stands foursquare with the American people in working to prevent any kind of further extremist violence?
Absolutely. And the worst thing for the Muslim community would be another attack such as September 11th, and I think members and leaders of the Muslim community recognize that.
You think they're doing their good part?
I do, but there's always there is always more to be done, and in all communities, the need to be vigilant to self-radicalization is important. And when you see persons or individuals in whatever community whom you think present a concern, it's important that one take action. I am always reminded of on the airline flying from Paris to Florida, the shoe bomber, and it was an alert flight attendant who fixed on the fact that there was something unusual when he was lighting a match and saved the lives of hundreds of people. Now, that did not happen to be a Muslim flight attendant, but nonetheless, we have had that same type of
I'm sorry, Mr. Director,
Muslim community.
Forgive me for my interruption. It's just the time that makes me have to do that. But, you know, there were recently some arrests in Detroit area, Dearborn, that, you know, may well have been justified. I don't have any view on that. But what the residual impact was is that some charities were notified by the banks that they were working with that their relationship was going to be terminated. Are you at all concerned about how third parties out in the community, such as banks and others, might react when it's gotten into the public arena that there's been some law enforcement activity in a certain community? You understand what I'm getting at?
Yes, yes, I am concerned, but on the other hand, we have our job to do. When we have the evidence and we have the imperative to move ahead, we have to. There will be residual effects. I'm not saying there will not be, and that is some concern. But
and can the FBI do anything to help mitigate those residual effects? I mean, is that something that you regard as something that is important in terms of continuing to pursue your program to build better, stronger relationships?
Yes, and the mitigation goes to what I was saying before in terms of developing relationships and understanding of how the FBI operates. When we do searches, it's at the behest of a judge who has approved the search warrant, so there's greater understanding of the parameters within which we operate, as well as our mission and how we undertake it.
Do you ever send communications to groups like that to say that, look, we haven't found anything. These people are, you might not want to take adverse action against them because our investigation is not turned up anything against them?
Generally, we cannot and do not do that given the confidentiality of our investigations, but to the extent that we can mitigate such adverse consequences within the constraints of what we can do investigatively, we would try to do, and much of it is building up the relationships and the rapport.
Yeah. Is there anything you can do to help remove that cloud of suspicion that would inevitably hang over a group where there may have been some investigative action that is found not to be fruitful?
Well, ultimately, if we've taken action, generally there is an indictment or some other action. It may be a forfeiture action like in which the courts address it. And the facts that triggered the enforcement action come through and become transparent in the judicial process.
Yeah, but sometimes there's no further action. There might be just a couple of guys in black suits and ties that knock on the door. That causes a certain amount of fear and suspicion. Or maybe there is a search warrant served, but then there's no further action after that. Community continues to wonder what's up with those guys.
Well, there is, again, it's usually up to the U.S. Attorney. There's a capability of indicating to a defense attorney that the client is no longer either a target or a subject of an investigation. And that goes generally to that kind of letter goes to a defense attorney.
Gentleman's time has expired.